Welcome to I Just Wanted to Push Record, a producer's podcast, where lifestyle, arts, community, culture, and production meet. Two producers, two cultures, and a whole lot of flavor. Join hosts Lena and JC for fun conversations, cool interviews, sharing tips, laughing through production hiccups, and celebrating the art of it all. Ready to roll? It all starts with pushing record.
Producers podcast celebrating arts, community, and culture. This is JC, and I am here representing Lena and both of us as we have a great opportunity today to sit down on another special episode where we get a chance to kind of show the behind the scenes, behind the curtain, if you will, on not only podcast production, but some of the geniuses who actually make podcasts actually happen, and that mainly being the host today. So what I want to start out today, it's a great fun time that's going to be had. I will go ahead and do a disclaimer to anyone who may have the privilege of listening to this to realize that this is going to be like anything else you've ever heard before. I have the great opportunity to have some of the most prolific up-and-coming podcast hosts in the world just a couple 100 miles apart from me. As we sit, on different coasts right now, we all represent very, 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 very like representation. And if you listen to the end of this podcast, you'll understand exactly what that means. Today on I Just Wanted to Push Record, we have the host of the Doty Connection. He is an artist extraordinaire. He's a father debonair. He's a friend to many, a mentor to others. If you've never been to Southeast San Diego, then you need to get there now.
Hello.
And when you get there, you ask him about Mr. Wowzer. We have Diannte, Grayson on the show, and I just want to push record. Thanks for joining us, brother.
Man, thank you for the intro, man. You got me feeling some type of way, JC. Easy killer.
Well, you all taught me well because right next to you, adjacent, Diannte adjacent, is a young man who leads everything he says by talking about knowledge is power. And I believe Diannte would agree with me that one of the things that makes that statement true is that he's made us powerful because of the knowledge that he shared with us.
Yes.
And so, with his podcast, Cannabis Enlightened, that's now been on the air for more than 30 episodes, more than 2 years, and still growing and populating, helping teach people about the business of cannabis, the industry of cannabis, in front of the counter, behind the counter, and all points in between. We have the great luxury on I Just Wanted to Push Record to have Dr. Leroy. I won't say Brady as his last name. I'll just say Dr. Leroy. Welcome, Doc. Welcome.
As long as you don't say Brady, that serves me well.
I won't say Brady. I won't say Dr. Leroy Brady. I won't do that.
And I appreciate the young man. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that kind of leads us into one of the things that this came out of is many of you don't know that in the Olas Media studios, outside of the studios physically, there's a little place in the front that represents more like a conference room. It's usually, if we were in a traditional broadcast studio, we probably call it more of like a green room. But oftentimes throughout the number of years that I've known these brothers, we've had conversations that should have been or were meant to be only about 5 minutes, and they've turned into anything short of 3 hours. And I will tell you that while we won't keep you here for 3 hours today, what we will do is give you a nice series of conversations here today, maybe not in one episode, maybe in a trio of episodes. But the content that you're going to get today is going to be bar none. And so what we wanted to do today is a great idea between these two brothers that we all get on and actually discuss some of the things we normally talk about, as well as podcast production, because for all intents and purposes, that's kind of how we all met. I know for me as a producer, I've had the privilege of working on both of you all shows. Lena has helped take the shows to the next level and where they are now. And I just know that that's kind of helped us kind of grow together, working on these projects together. And I think that at first, Doc, it was you and me that started working together on Cannabis Enlightened, right?
Absolutely. I met you long distance. I was thinking about that the other day, that I was introduced to you, and then we got hooked up by way of Zoom. And you were on a bus or getting ready to get on a plane or something.
That's called
And-
Amtrak. That's
and-
called
and it was
yeah, the
Amtrak.
Amtrak.
So I'm thinking you were back east. But I didn't ask any questions. I just appreciated the fact that you would, speak with me. And I really didn't know what to expect, man. Didn't know. I was bringing my academic world. As my listeners know, I taught, City College. I'm a retired college professor. I taught for 22 years at San Diego City College and School of Business. I was chair of the business department. And, kind of things I have had to do were regimented. You gotta have notes. You gotta come prepared. But you get up and you speak,
Right.
So I was thinking the same thing for this particular, a job or type of work,
Right.
right.
Lecture style. You were thinking lecture.
Yeah, I was thinking lecture, and I was thinking, man, I'll do this in a walk, man.
Right, because you're talking from the students.
Yeah, I could probably do 5 of these in one sitting.
Right.
I ain't worried about this. So, fortunately, I'm the kind of an open guy and, willing to change. When I must have prepared like 5 books worth of notes for the first episode.
Wow.
At least.
And
5 composition notebooks? Look.
I will say JC was kind. He was kind because he said he was between being the professional and a down home guy. He said, well, go on in there. Go on in there.
No, but listen,
The NC came out of him.
but that's that client. That's another one. I think a lot of times we talk about producers and podcasts. A lot of people don't understand. We may have the worst day.
Yeah.
We may not be feeling it. We may not be may not want to do, may not even like the podcast.
Yeah.
But if it's a client,
Yeah.
go on in there.
Yeah, go on in there. That part. Go on in there.
Go on in there. And I have to say that, and the listening audience also knows this of me, that I am on the board of March and Ash and Groundworks, Groundworks Holding, that combines March and Ash and Canacraft. I'm on the board. So they tell me that brings a certain level of distinction, but I never felt it. And certainly with JC and also with my colleague Diannte, that never comes in the mix. You're just another brother.
Yeah.
You're another brother. And if you're doing something wrong, I'm going to tell you, and you got to come correct. So
we're gonna get into that too, Doc, because there's a backside of that too. Like, yeah, because if you don't know who you are, but you expect other people to know who you are, you still got to be who you are.
Exactly.
So we're gonna come back to that.
Good job, JC.
We're gonna come back to that. I mean, and Diannte, the funny thing about that is one of the first episodes. Doc doesn't remember. He always gives it to one of our colleagues that he did the interview. But the first time that I met you was when you were a guest on his show. If you haven't heard Diante's episode in the early days of Cannabis Enlightened, you need to go and treat yourself and listen to. This dude was bad from the beginning, and he was true to form. How he was in that episode to how he was on his last episode has always been true and true. That's a Cannabis Enlightened episode. If you haven't heard it, go check it out. But that's how I met Diannte. Diannte came in, and then the first thing I remember is that y'all talking about that East Coast. Diannte said, "Oh yeah, Norfolk," and I said, "What?"
Yeah.
I said, "What? What?
Yeah.
Who this? Yeah, I mean, tell him." And then that's how I remember us meeting. How about you, Diannte?
It was
all 3 of us.
It was incredible. What was you about to say before?
I was going to say, I really like that meeting of you and I, Diannte, because it was after a breakfast meeting I had with Brett Peace.
Right.
And he said, there's a new guy that we hired, Dr. Leroy. I'd like you to meet him. So I came right in the office, and I looked in the big office room. I looked, and he pushed his head up above the screen, and I saw Diannte, and it was like immediately we started walking towards each other.
Yeah, we did. I got up. Yeah,
and we hugged.
Yeah, he looked at my shoes and was like, "So let me give the full context, right?" And I'm glad you said true to form, JC, because for me, that episode to me is still one of the best episodes outside of Doty Connection or anything I've ever done.
All right,
because you got me in that moment of me just leaving the trap and transferring into the legal industry of the cannabis industry. that was a raw moment for me to kind of like shave of everything I knew and step into civilianship. And that was the start of it with your interview.
Yeah.
And meeting JC, shout out to Chris Cantori. I'm going to go ahead and give him a shout out. But
amen.
That's when I met JC for the first time. And when I hear producer, I'm looking at him like, executive producer? This is my first time meeting a producer. So I felt like I had to be on my best behavior. That's why I was sitting like this, like a church schoolboy. But I felt like we were closer then because I shed skin in front of you guys that I didn't do in front of a lot of people. I think I cried in that interview.
Yeah, that episode was very, very meaningful. And we didn't even do it in the studio that we're in right now. I think we did it outside.
Yeah, this was being built out at the time.
Right, we did it outside in what's now the conference room. And we started talking and it just, everything was going on really well. And then we started talking about family stuff.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this hardened kind of a guy, you know, the lighthearted, hardened kind of a guy, he started to tear up.
Yeah.
And you know, you have to, you play it by ear when somebody really gets into the emotional side of themselves. Because you really don't know what to do.
Right. Because it comes out, it's unpredictable when those things happen, right?
Exactly.
It's like you try to hold back tears and they just fall out and you're like, oh God.
Exactly. And the human part of me, the black man part of me wanted to, hug you, but we were across from each other.
Yeah.
And we were doing a podcast. So I had to,
Yeah. And I'm looking at Leroy. Leroy's on interview mode. You know what I'm talking about, Jason? He like, you okay?
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good.
And the producer in me is saying, Dr. Leroy, shut up. Let him have this moment. Because that's going to sound good on air. That's going to sound good. And he like, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, read the room. Like, let that go. And then, that probably was episode 103.
Yeah. Literally.
That. So, so it's kind of like, that's a little that grace. But you know what, Doc? You mentioned something right then.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you realize you put it in a certain order. Because when you talk about black man in you put that third, right? One of the things that I think is unique, I was going to mention it too, because, you walk in that office. I was going to ask who else was you going to get Diannte confused with in that office.
Yeah, right.
That's one thing. That's one thing. Two, I think I have been there. I have been with IBC, parent company of Olas Media. I have been with them for at least almost a year then through COVID, right? And we were just coming back. We had gotten to the new place. And so I had not seen anyone from my tribe. And so to come to Mission Valley and to get there, and then all of a sudden, in less than 3 months, see more people that are in my tribe than I had seen the whole year that I had worked with IBC was a moment in itself.
Right.
Around my way, I think we can establish I'm the dude from the South. We talk about family reunions, right? Family reunions, like when you get there, you don't know if they're your cousin, your aunt, like, I mean, you can kind of tell who's who, but you get my point. My point being is that when we saw each other, there wasn't a whole bunch of, what's your story, man? Who you? And then it was more along the lines, okay, we in this room, we already have some commonalities. And the ironic part about that is that although with all the commonalities that we had that were unspoken, the one thing that was obvious is the generational differences that were there, right?
Right. And I think for me, the most incredible thing about that, because let me give a shout out to my grandma real quick, right? She, for me, is like the Bible of me understanding generational gaps between my mother, myself, even my sister, right? To my kids. My grandma comes from a fighter time where Motown music was the only type of music that was out.
Amen.
Right? You fought for the word black to not be called colored. That's the generation my grandma is from. I get down to my mother's generation in the 70s, and she had to work to look like kind of like Leroy being a professor. She had to work to get inside a career where she's not looked as a black woman, more as a military woman or a professor. They did everything they could to not be addressed as a right. Then you get down to my generation, and I like to call this the CIA reset because they poisoned the 90s babies. I'm talking about in a grotesque way, from music to, look, Snoop Dogg was popular. That should just tell you alone. it was gang banging, it was serial black killing, it was drug dealing. So by the time I hit the early 2000s in 5th grade after 9/11, specifically, I remember me feeling like this. I felt like I had no other protection but to go to a gang. Yeah. Because at that time, I've been mannered by Tupac. I've been mannered by Snoop Dogg. I've been listening to stuff for so long that subconsciously it felt right to do that. It felt like I had no other opportunities but that. So my grandma and my mother were like, why? You have other things you could do. You can be a powerful black man. We just don't see that. Well, at that time we didn't. We felt like we were poison. We're creators of crime. And anything that we have to do has to do with streets, which is why we never even talked to cops. I'm bringing this all up to context a story that happened recently. We're going to get back to that, but just remember what I said. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to get a response from you on that, but I want to put this rule in here, and you all can adhere to the rule as you want to, because ain't no enforcer.
Then it's not a rule.
One of the things that I think we have a powerful opportunity to do now in this moment and in this age of technology and artificial intelligence and keywords and tags and terms, I would like to say that while we're in this conversation, for those that we're going to reference, there are our family members like Diannte, and I'm saying because you talked about your mother, you talked about your grandmother. Part of what I would love to see us do is to start utilizing those names so that they become legendary. What happens is when we just start talking about, like outside this conversation, if a listener cuts this off, all we know is, yeah, Deontay's grandmother, but she has a name that makes her legendary. Right now, I'm not saying you got to do the full government name, but I'm just saying, right? Like I know that there's no way I'm going to get out of this episode without referencing Jim Polk, which is my daddy. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and say that now. But I would just offer it out there that I think that as we have the privilege to have a conversation about these people, whether it be in memoriam or in real life, that we honor them and what they poured into us by just calling them by their name. Go ahead. I just want to throw that out there.
I agree. And I'll start doing that.
That's righteous. Yeah. That's righteous. Very. You know, we got to give all credit to the people that are responsible for us being not just here, but alive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
so,
right.
you know, I get that. I understand. Can I just want to go back when I interviewed Diannte and he started to tear up. I went back, and this is, you know, we're trained. I like to think we're educated, but we're actually trained to act a certain way in certain situations.
Yeah.
And my academic training told me from the classroom, because that's happened in the classroom too. People tear up, they start crying, or something happens. You can't really go over and touch them. And where I come from, you can't do that. You try to give them that moment and pass it by and get on. So if nothing else, you say, well, you want to, you know, perhaps you want to go outside and excuse yourself. And most times they never come back into the classroom.
Right.
But you try to make it pass as fast as possible.
And not to cut him off, but he is right. And I think that has to do with the generational gap thing again, because I've only seen my mother, Christina Hill, cry 2 or 3 times in my life. She's one of the toughest black women that I know ever. Yeah. I mean, she still goes to the shooting range, and she's 53 years old every Saturday. She keeps a 50 calendar.
But, you know, I wanted to reach over and even in the classroom, when students start to cry, I want to go over and hug them, but I cannot.
Because it's something in you that you feel like you were trained to do.
Well, because of the law.
See what I'm saying?
Legally.
I'm only bringing this up because I am a block baby. Now, Leroy, to speak on that, there's times where we were standing on 68th Street in El Cajon. That's a specific block that I spent my last adolescence on. But I would tell a story like that with my mom. Like, my mom hasn't told me she loved me in over 20 years. Yeah. My homies would hug me about that. Yeah. That's when I learned that kind of honesty. Like, if I'm honest now, then I understand that somebody else isn't going to feel like how I feel about it, because I just dismissed it. My mama doesn't say she loved me, and I just moved forward. Yeah. They really felt that because they have a great relationship. Like, come here, Diannte. My bad, bro. I didn't even know you was going through that.
Yeah. And I marvel at this, that people that speak another language, Hispanics, how they can speak their native language and then turn around and speak the English at the same time and hear the different types of
Tones
languages
and everything. Yeah.
So we do that ourselves. We act differently when we're with our career, our professional people, than we do when we're with our home people. And in this environment, I can say this, and the reason why I'm bringing that up, in this environment, I've had to deal with mixing that. How do you mix that? Like every time we meet, every time I come into the office and meet Diannte, we hug.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and I make sure I go out my way. You know me, JC. I come in and do it with you. I go out my way to give them that. Yeah.
But I think what's unique about that, Doc, though, is that again, I if we were doing a study, my question that I would throw in there would be, how much of that is the fact that we are a tribe, right? Like it is almost like a form of gratitude when I dap you up and I embrace, because if we go back talking about when we met each other, this was right after COVID, and you know what you didn't do, Doc?
Yeah,
you didn't want to touch nobody.
Oh, kids, you stayed 6 feet.
And you were not shameful of being able to say, no, I don't do that.
Yeah,
I don't do that. And that I was like, okay, so these are things like I noticed, right? But I wanted to say real fast when you were talking about again the generational component of that. Right now, I shouldn't say right now, but most recently, a couple, over the past couple of years, one of the things you hear about in a workplace culture post-COVID is the workplace balance, right? And you have more people being, not only employers actually being more where they were favorable to, like, what do you need? Do you need some time? Your mental health, where is that? Is everything okay? If you got to do something with family, go do family. And a lot more progressive employers have maintained that, right? And what wound up happening, the way that I came up, the line that my mama gave me is, you don't hang your drawers out on the line for everybody to see. So if something's going on at home, whether I'm arguing with, if I just got a whooping before I got on the bus to go to school, fix your face. Now get on out there and make sure you got everything, and don't leave your lunchbox and don't leave that jacket. And then I expect you, but fix your face. Don't show that out there, right? And so for me, even now, a lot of listeners don't know. Before we even got on here, you were talking about, Doc, like, JC, where are you? Where are you? And shout out to Lena, because Lena's probably felt the most brunt of this, when a lot of times it is second nature for me, not second nature for me, to expose or share with someone where I am, what I'm doing, when I'm going to be back. How come I'm not, like, it's very much, and I like to think I do a more artful way, Doc, than just telling you none yet. I don't say none yet. I am more along the lines to be like, right over here. I'm right over here. Like, I'll give you something that's ambiguous and I'll move on to the next thing without having to tell you I'm not there. I'm not coming in there. How many times you talking about something? So you gonna be at the office tomorrow? Well, listen, anything is possible.
See, and I'm gonna take a page out of his book, because I'm the same way, JC. I don't like people knowing my schedule fully. He knows that. So when you ask, so when are you going to be in the office? Especially now. Back then it was, I'm 5 a.m. Now it's like, why? You keeping tabs on me? Like, I'm trying to figure out.
See, but that's because I'm coming in and I want to meet with you.
I know. It's just something programmed in me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
That's
even
what we're talking about.
You do that, I back off.
Don't give him a pass. Don't give him a pass. Because if your motivation is you want to meet with me, let me tell you how you do it. You sit there and say, hey, Doc, I'd like to meet with you tomorrow. What are you doing Tuesday at 2:00?
Okay.
Well, I'm trying,
you don't have to know what I'm doing.
I'm trying to avoid all that verbiage.
No,
okay?
you don't forget.
What time you coming in the office tomorrow?
No, you paying it. But that information does you no good. It does not make or break you.
But that's the communication that happens there. I'm thinking one thing and he's thinking another thing.
Right.
Right.
Go ahead.
In that communication, we want to meet. I know you want to meet with me. I want to meet with you. But the way we're communicating that, we understand it differently.
Yeah. No, he's right. And that's like, that gap thing we talking about.
Yeah, it's like sometimes when I teach communication, I teach the word bad. To some people, bad is really bad. It's not good. But if you're from the Michael Jackson era, you know the song, something bad means it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from the 90s. We call girls that look good bad. Oh, she's bad.
Yeah, but bad meaning she looks good.
Yeah, right.
So it's very important that both parties, when you communicate, know the definition, the meaning of words.
Right.
Even slang.
I agree.
Even
So
slang.
going forward now, you understand that I'm not trying to dodge you. I'm just not understanding why you feel like you need to know my full itinerary for the day.
And I feel that. And to be fair, because I don't do that with JC.
No,
I don't.
But see, sometimes the devil gets in me. I'll go back. See,
Wait,
Flip Wilson, the devil.
I thought religion was the last segment.
No, well, the devil is all places. So sometimes I know what I'm doing.
Right. Sometimes it just be a daze. I
just want to get on your nerve.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So I'm built for this.
Hello.
Because here's the thing, as we talk about where we're from, and some of I think we owe it to to the audience to kind of share this too. I mean, for me, obviously, I've already talked about I come from the South. Mine was a migration west later on in life, after becoming a father, things like that. After going through a higher institution of education at a HBCU, to come and land in San Diego. And really just as much as people may not want to admit it, there is a cultural shock that happens, though long and drawn out, like most things in San Diego. That culture shock spans the test of time. And I think that richness to the relationships that we have is that I did some of this development with you all being right there on the front row. I don't know if I'm pulling this one out of the archives, Diannte. I don't know if you remember coming in and it was just me and you in the studio and you sat there and said, yeah, man, you don't have to do all that academic talk in front of me like that.
I do remember that. I super do. Yeah. I said, you could talk to me like a real person. Yeah.
And in my mind, yeah, because in my mind, it is, I'm at work. This is not personal. Like me and Diannte at this point, we hadn't hung out, right? Like we came in there, this was the gig,
and we did our work, right?
And so I maintained what they would call that professional firewall, and it was the same thing. I didn't hang out with the same people. It was a big adjustment for me to actually start building relationships like this, even with with my partner in crime, Lena. Like, believe it or not, I can be very standoffish when it comes to letting people into my world and knowing my personal business. Now, Doc, you as an older
I have a hard time believing that.
No, it's true.
Well, you standoffish.
Doc, that's what I was about to say. I don't know whether you did it on purpose or if it was just a level of the professionalism, you coming out of academia. But there was something about when you came in there, it compelled me to drop that curtain so that I could have conversations. There's oftentimes I mentioned to you, Doc, that I say, man, I don't get to have a conversation like this that often.
Yeah. It's true.
This is very good because I have a relationship with Diannte where I've often complimented him that he has the intellect of someone that I've worked with in a master's and PhD program.
Thank you.
Yet he can turn around and talk neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I get schooled on the language.
Wait, is that the official title of the language, Doc?
We call it lingo. Ebonics.
I call it the neighborhood. I call it neighborhood.
Well, because neighborhood. Right.
He's fluent in neighborhood. Like I just don't want Doc going out there talking about something. Diannte, no, he should have a master's in neighborhood.
No, he should have and I can. People know that when I talk about masters, I'm talking about the quote unquote King's English, the college,
right.
Your Stanford, your
Black Law Dictionary,
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then he finds out that I went to Abraham Lincoln High School.
Yeah.
And I grew up in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I grew up in Southeast.
And to be fair, he grew up at a time, because I did too. Now, for people who are wondering why he brought up Norfolk, my mom was in the military for 20 years. Her name is Christina Hill. I was born in Virginia, Portsmouth, raised in Norfolk till about 3 or 4, and raised the rest of my life in San Diego. So my vivid memory of San Diego is it was rich, full of culture. It was a lot of my people out here and brown people, big time. We used to have festivals of, remember those college bands that used to march through Southeast?
Yeah.
It was vibrant out here. It was a different San Diego about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been the same since then. No. So, yeah. Going back to what you were talking about, that cultural cleansing.
Yeah.
They did that out here in San Diego. They moved a lot of people back to the South.
Yeah.
For sure.
Before we move to any other transition, I just feel the need to say that when I'm going to go back and I guess catch that little nugget of when I first started podcasting, and I thought I knew everything, and I thought that you guys were going to have to follow me. I remember like it was yesterday, or maybe even today, the first few podcasts I did, and JC was in the studio. We were in here, the big table,
right,
and everything. And I thought I'd done a good job. And I didn't really watch what JC was doing, but he was standing up, and apparently he was writing stuff. We have a whiteboard in this room, and he was writing stuff on there. So this is funny. To me, it's even funnier. So when it was over, he did the thing. He turned the tables on me. He asked me, "Doc, how you think you did?" Which is exactly what I would do to people before I'm getting ready to ream them a new one.
Oh.
But I was like a fish caught on a hook, because I was just thinking, okay. So I said, well, I thought I did really good. So, and then he did the second thing. He closed the door.
Dang, this door?
Now, you remember?
Yeah.
He closed it, and when he closed the door, that's when I sat up straight, and I'll tell you right now, my butthole got real tight.
Oh yeah, so you sat like this. You was clenching that mother.
Said, oh crap! And I'm thinking to myself, what am I gonna do?
Oh, you was clenching tight there.
Yeah, and I sat there, and he started off gently, and then he just hit me, some jabs, and then he came with the uppercut.
And I think, not to cut nobody off, I think that's what I value most about our relationship, all three of us.
Yeah.
Is that we are brutally honest, and we don't take that honesty personal. Mm-hmm. We understand that we're family. And I want him to tell me I'm doing wrong before. Should I listen to him tell me, or you, before my mother tell me I'm doing wrong? Wow. Because I talk to you guys more than my mother. Yeah. And my relationship with my mother is very complicated. We got a lot better. Lot better. We talk a lot more. That past is still there, though, if that makes sense.
I think that's the way it goes.
Right.
I really think that when you get older, you have more in common with your parents. Right. I mean, maybe that's obvious, right, because you're a grown.
Shoot, and you was always in my head about it was you and me. Man, you might as well just go ahead and come on, Diannte. You need it. He knows sometimes, like, he'll give me. So that's one thing about Doc. Like, Doc's helped me out in these 4 years tremendously. A lot of people don't know. Because when I came here, I was wild. And only he knows. There's some stories we just can't share, right?
Yeah. Under penalty of death.
Right. But he would take the time to tell me something, because I don't know. It's like his emotional intelligence understands that I'm going to plant this seed in his head. I know he's going to think about it later, because I always do. And I come back and I'm like, damn, Doc, you was right. I should have just did this. And vice versa with my mother. He always told me for years, you might as well just take that and just move forward, man. You only got one mother. I'm like, nah, because I feel like I'm right. She needs to call me and apologize, mm-hmm, instead of just being a man, mm-hmm, and accepting an apology that you never gotten.
And that's really special, that something you do and something that JC does. From you, it's that you come back and you verify, or you say, something that you said really worked, or it was good, or I appreciate that. And I don't think we do that enough as Black men.
Very true.
So you appreciated me. That's the word you appreciated me. And JC, you do it too, because you say when you say, Doc, I really miss talking to you. Really miss the conversations we had. That's almost like saying to me, you're a really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, because we don't do that. We don't do that as Black men. We don't congratulate each other. We don't say, hey, man, I appreciate you for just being who you are.
Especially in San Diego, JC. I'm going to tell you, because you said we're different out here, and it's true. One thing about San Diego, our community, is that crab in a barrel syndrome. Oh. So JC has a podcast. We're just using you as an example. You talk to a random San Diego guy that you've known for a few weeks. You're like, yeah, I got a podcast. Guess what he's going to do? Oh, really? Well, I got one too.
Yeah.
That's the San Diego. That's the crap. Literally, I do music too. Oh, okay. Matter of fact, I got an album out too. I released it the same day. it's never that
Yeah.
good. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Can I listen to your album?
Yeah.
Can I listen to your
Mm.
podcast?
Mhm.
It's always a one up, or I have to be equal to.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be like that out here.
I mean, it's almost like Diannte, like you're a great podcast host, because that segues into our next segment to talk about relationships. Because you
Mhm.
talked about your mom, and you talked about how
Mhm.
your relationship with your mom has created a different relationship with Dr. Leroy. And Dr. Leroy, you talked about how you and I are able to talk. And what I was going to drop in there is talk about the role that toxic masculinity plays in me not being able to just say, "Man, I miss you, Doc," or
Mhm.
"Hey,
Mhm.
Doc, what you said really touched me." "Hey,
Mhm.
Diannte, when you checked me at the door right then, you made me sit there and take a step back and humble thyself." Right? I was able to,
Mhm.
which now allows me to be more vulnerable at this moment. So, what I do
Mhm.
want to do is let's take a breath,
Yeah.
right? Because we've been going strong. Let's take a breath. This is still the I Just Wanted to Push Record, a producer's podcast. I've got the great Dr. Leroy, not going to say Brady at the end, and I've got Mr. Wowzer, Diannte.
Wowzer.
We've just started our conversation. Stick with us. There's more to come. We're going to take a quick breath and we'll be back. This is I Just Wanted to Push Record.
Let's go.
Just taking a quick pause here. Enjoying the convo so far? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more fun, tips, and stories from Lena and JC.
Content creators ready to take your podcast from something you just thinking about doing to making it a production reality? Look no further than Olas Media San Diego's premier podcast network, located in the heart of Mission Valley.
At Olas Media, we've got everything you need to produce high-quality podcasts. With professional producers, state-of-the-art facilities, and talented graphic and sound designers, we'll bring your vision to life.
Join our lineup of dynamic shows like Dear San Diego, where we dive into the city's heartbeat. Beyond the Doors, your go-to for real estate and housing insights. Cannabis Enlightened, exploring the evolving cannabis industry.
Plus, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes brings a fresh, fun take on movies. Border Masters shines a light on the complexities of the U.S.-Mexico border. No matter the topic, Olas is your creative home. Even our clients say so.
Ready to bring your podcast to life? Let Olas Media be your partner in production. Visit olasmedia.com and get started today.
Let us amplify your brand.
Olas Media.
And we are on. Oh, wait. I almost forgot to push record. Now over to Lena and JC.
And we're back on I Just Wanted to Push Record, a producer's podcast. I want to take this opportunity to shout out our producer, Lena, who's keeping us all in line. You all don't know that there
All
are three
right.
brothers in the room, virtual and remote,
All
that
right.
to keep us all in line and to keep us on time, it takes a lot. And to
Mhm.
producers that are listening to this, you always have to have a great teammate. We've talked about that on previous episodes. If you want to hear episodes that Lena and I have done together, where we talk about the experiences we've had with Dr. Leroy and Diannte, make sure you go and listen to our past episodes at olasmedia.com. We've been having a great time here. I'm glad you guys are with us. Doc, you were just saying something about
Yeah.
as we
Yeah.
started talking about relationships.
Right.
You had something
Right.
good to say.
It would when what I'm going to share is something. It was I was reminded of it by Diante's evolving relationship with his mother and father, which I think is beautiful, and I really appreciate to my heart the fact that a lot of that he shares with me. And I guess to put it in context, I had my mother and father, they were together until one died. My dad died first, and then, I was the chaperone or the company for my mother until she passed away.
Condolences.
But thank you. But, something that
You didn't forget the rule, did you? Did you forget the rule?
About who she is?
The names? Yes, sir.
Well, I'm a junior, so, Leroy
Jr.
And I never, you get into another topic. I never wanted people to know that because I did not want to be 37 years old and called Junior. I just didn't want that. So my father's name was Leroy Thomas Brady, as mine is. And my mother was Maddie Yvonne Brady. They were together until, like I said, till one left this earth. And then my mother stayed on for another 12 years. But the thing about my father, he was hospitalized. He died in the hospital. I gained a deeper relationship with him when I was able, because he didn't have use of his right hand, and he would shave. I shaved that man for, God, must have been 3 or 4 years, 3 or 4 years. And even though we rarely hugged and we didn't always say that we loved each other, when I shaved him, and this happened many times, he would actually go to sleep. And for somebody to trust you that much, that he's like, I'm putting my life in your hands, son.
Because you got this blade in your hand.
I got this blade. And
but for the movie buffs, this would be great. If this was a major motion picture, Doc, what I would cut away to for B-roll is that scene in The Color Purple.
Yeah.
Where Celie is shaving Mister.
That's a perfect scene.
Suge Avery had to come save because the tension was so tight. Like, I'm putting my life in your hands.
Right.
And whether I've done right by you or wrong by you, my life is in your hands right now.
Yeah. And the reason why I brought that up is to show the different types of relationship. Like your relationship, Diannte, was hearing the word "I love you." So and it is true, I believe, as a poet, that when you speak a word, you make it real. But there's the other side of the emotional standpoint of someone just putting their life in your hands. He let me shave him several times, and I never cut him. Maybe because I was afraid. I never cut him, but he was just there. So he trusts me, and nobody else shaved him until he passed away. Nobody else.
Well, to your point, you had your mother and father in your life.
Had them both. And I don't know which one of you said it. Maybe it was you, JC, that you never saw your parents get real emotional.
Right.
I never heard my parents argue. When they were arguing, now this is cute. When they would argue.
I know where you're going. Go ahead.
They would go back to their room and close the door.
That's right.
Close the door and argue. But we never saw them. We did see them hug. We did see them kiss, and they go out together. But they presented an example of, I don't know if they knew it. This is how you're supposed to be a black man to a black woman.
And not to cut you off, JC, or you.
Yeah.
Sorry for doing it.
You cutting us off.
Yeah, I know, right? That's why.
Shout out Walter Ford.
You shout out to Walter Ford. Real talk. That's why I brought those generational gaps up, because you were showed a structure before the reset. Even JC. Mm-hmm. So when you get down to my mother, who was in the 70s, grew up when hip hop was brand new.
Right.
She moved as a lone wolf.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, being a single woman was a big thing. Yeah. Single black woman at that. Yeah. And for anybody who does listen to the past episode with Leroy, I ended up finding out more information about who my father was and what happened with my mother. At that time, I was a rape baby because that was the information that was given to me, that my mom got raped by her sergeant, and that's why I'm here. I ended up finding out about a month ago. We talked about this, right?
Yeah.
About a month ago that what my mom did was consensual.
But, I think when we talked about that incident, a situation, I said to you that I think your mother was in a survival mode.
Yeah,
telling you that she was raped. But I immediately wanted to help the mother.
No, he did.
And
he did. He said, I think you should support her more.
Yeah.
Honestly, what I told her is what you did takes a lot of courage to do. And I really appreciate this.
Oh, man.
Because you don't know what you just did for me.
Yeah.
I wish I could. I apologize for not remembering the book, but just this morning I saw there's this new book out, and it's actually a fiction book, right? And it talks about, it's an East India global warming natural disaster that happens, and one of the things they start looking at is like, what does it take from if you're in a community, you're in a village, and then all of a sudden there's a famine and the food is not what it's supposed to be, and now it's survival of the fittest, and it gets very Darwinian, right? And that same person who was your neighbor yesterday, or that community member, or your sister, your brother, but it's like, I got to feed my kids type of thing. It challenges what does love look like, because love can be a lie.
Yeah, it can.
Love can be honest. One of the things that she lifted up, she was like, that I could identify with is like, your parents a lot of times are there to say, I got you. I'm gonna protect you. I'm gonna do whatever it is to make sure you get a chance to see more days than I do. Right. If we break it down to its and for me, like I remember being at school, my mom would be like, did you do this? You need to have you done this? Have you done this? And I would lie. Yeah. I already did that. I already did that. Now, I would like to believe, and I truly feel this way, that I was telling her that because I didn't want her worrying about me.
Right.
I'm a grown man out of your house. You don't need to sit there and be stressed over me. So I'm going to tell this lie out of love.
And I like how you connected that.
But to be able to understand that and to receive that is like what Doc just said, is that you have to know what that love is. Because when you understand how deep a love is, you can understand how, the courage it takes to not say this, but to do that in the name of love. Man, it gets heavy. But now that transference happens into our relationships. How does that show up in being married, being a father, being a friend? Right? Like being able to just be honest. If I think that Doc is going to lie to me, or if Doc thinks that JC ain't going to tell me the truth, no way. So I ain't no need for me even to talk about going into business with him.
Right.
Right? Like it and I had a lady when I moved to San Diego, man. Shout out, of course, now I'm trying to call her. Maybe that's why I'm projecting into y'all. Like to call her
silly, right? Like we're gonna do that one.
Susie. No.
Sometimes we don't need to know the name.
Her name is Susie. We used to have drinks. When I moved here, she would say, "Come to Hennessy's." Shout out Hennessy's in La Jolla, and she come on. The one thing she told me: how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
And most of us maybe want to look at like the negative thing, right? Because that's what I did.
Right.
I went to the negative thing, like, no. But if you love hard, then you love hard on everything.
On everything.
If you hurt hard, if you know how to cry, if you know how to sit there and tell the truth when it's the most difficult thing to tell the truth, then that's what you know how to do. It's just a matter of calling upon that at all times. So I say the same thing, man. Like I listen to your story, Diannte, and I'm sitting there thinking, receive it right, it makes so much sense. That's why you're so passionate and compassionate. That's why you're so dedicated. And when you take this shit seriously, you take this shit seriously. Like you're in it. You're not going to say, and then that spills over to integrity. I am who I said I was, and you better not doubt me because I'm just as passionate about when you doubt mine. Like, and then you start seeing this reciprocal, I don't know if dichotomy is the right word, but it's just this ecosystem of how our own personal love works. Goes back to, like you said, Doc, if you just let people out here to be hurt and not loved on, man, we live in a hard place. If all you're doing is hating and mad on everybody.
Yeah, we do.
But here's something that I've thought about lately, and as I mentioned, I'm retired. So when you retire, you have a lot of time to think.
Shout out to you, JC.
A whole lot of time to think. But there's a difference in saying the word and feeling the feeling. Feeling the feeling. I mean, you could tell somebody, and I have said, I'll belly up to the table and say I have said the word love to many women, but I didn't mean it.
Hey, that's a good point.
But I have not said the word love to many women, and later on, I'm saying like there's a hole in my heart because I'm not with that person, or gosh. Or start talking.
You say you haven't, or you have?
I haven't.
The hole in your heart.
I have. Well, I have the hole in my heart because
you haven't said you love them to the person that you did love.
I haven't said that I love them. Yeah, I haven't said it, and I should have. But the fact that I didn't say it was that wall that I put up. That I'm not letting you in.
Yeah.
I'm not letting you in because if I let you in, you're gonna hurt me.
Right.
And why do I think you're gonna hurt me? And here's a news flash, because I have hurt other people.
No, and that's hurt people.
Yeah, it's not you, it's me.
Right.
Yeah.
And it hurts. And I want to give a shout out to you, JC, because you broke down like everything about me, and just me telling you about that. That's one of the greatest assessments about me that I've ever heard. That's very true. That's why I am the way I am, because I had to deal with family members, my mother, my grandma, my cousins, who just did not believe in me because my mom would start rumors that I was doing things that I wasn't doing. So I was always the villain in my family. So I always felt like I had to go out on my own. So my romantic relationships, right? I always felt like, because that's like the American standard, right? Man, get a woman, get married, get a house, split your finances. I was a best man for my bro's wedding in Atlanta 2 years ago. Beautiful wedding. Shout out to my bro Zelly, man, and his wife, man, Brittany. But I was dating somebody at that time, JP, Jigglypuff is what I call her. Not gonna put her name on here, but she knows as soon as I say Jigglypuff, yeah, because she listens to the show. And I just
Shout
felt
out
like
Jigglypuff.
I'm wondering if that's a description of what she looks like or what
I showed you pictures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jiggly.
Yeah, Jigglypuff. I was lying to myself. You know, she's a great woman. I'm not taking nothing away from her, but she has past trauma that was spilling into what we were doing. I was lying to myself because I felt like I needed to appease that relationship dream of, especially when people look at me, they expect me to have a woman on my side. They do. I don't make the rules. You know what I mean? I'm just here. Man, after that wedding, I told my bro, I said, man, I'm going to come back. And it just changed me because I seen what real love looked like. He spent $65,000 on that wedding. I came back and broke up with her. I came back and broke up with her and been single ever since. Because I'm not going to lie to myself about.
It never ceases to amaze me how powerful experiences that we have undergone, how powerful they are in our future.
Yeah.
We bring them forward. And it's almost like they determine how we're going to act the next day.
Yeah.
And we may not think about it at that time. Like JC, I'm sure that when you did the critique of my podcast, I'm not sure what was in your mind, how significant you thought those episodes were, but they were powerful in my life. I mean, I think they were more powerful than some of the professors I had at State and some of the other, advanced degrees that I have. That was powerful, maybe because of who it was coming from.
Yeah.
And maybe because I felt that you cared. See, that's the other thing. When you can tell a person cares when they give you some feedback, when they say things about you or to you, I think that changes the message. And that changes how you hold it in your mind.
Dang, that was a great point.
No, listen, I'll be the first one to tell you, you got to keep in mind, if anything, Doc, you were original podcast number 2, if anything, right? Like we were going through this process of like, okay, March and Ash wants a podcast. It's Cannabis Enlightened. Dr. Leroy's that guy. JC, this is your job. Go to work, right? And so it's one of those things where, I'm not necessarily a dog fan, but you know how they say dogs latch on the bones and, and they're not going to let it go.
Right.
Like part of it is, yes, I cared. There was some selfish motivation that's in there. But at the same time, there is also an expectation that I'm not going to let those tribe members, go out there and look like anything.
Right.
And only because that's what I've experienced. If it wasn't my mama, if it wasn't my daddy, it was the teacher the teacher of color at school. If it wasn't the teacher of color at school, it was the first black man that I had as a teacher, Mr. Priester, who sat there and said, "Hey man, what you doing? You got all this talent.
Yeah.
You got this opportunity, and you're gonna do what with it?" And in those moments when I'm sitting there like, wait, so Doc, you already been teaching this course about the business of cannabis. You're with the #1 dispensary, fastest growing dispensary in the state of California, in this industry that nobody knows yet. And all they asking me to do is to do what I know to do. Let's go.
That part.
Let's go. And so when you come in, and this goes from day one to even now. When you may come in and it just be, well, let's just phone it in, or we'll see. I'm like, no. We supposed to win the championship every game.
Yeah.
It's game 7. every game is game 7 and we supposed to win because we not built to lose. We undefeated when it comes down to, like that type of mentality. And I just want to add this bit on it too, to tie in not just like our romantic relationships, our platonic relationships, but our professional relationships. Like Lena's not here to defend herself on the mic, but one of the things that I look at is how I've had to approach a relationship with her as a fellow producer on different projects, whether it's co-host of this show, whether it's producer of other shows. Being able to have someone that you can be honest with, can be vulnerable with, can sit there and just admit, guess what? I messed that up.
Yep.
Right? Because in my mind, I was always told never let them see you sweat. And that goes for everybody.
Yeah.
So even when you mess up, you better have a great excuse or you better have another explanation. But to be in a relationship and to see the fruits of that labor, when you get over yourself and you sit there and say, hey, you know what? When you're working with a production team, it's the same thing. And I look at you all as the extensions of a production team. When I can come in, Diante's going to have the outline dead set to center for his show. Dr. Leroy may not have his outline or know his guests, but guess what he's going to do? When he's not going to sit down in that chair unless he's ready to go and feels comfortable.
Right.
That's a level of trust in a relationship that everybody wants to have. That's a level of loyalty that you want to have in a relationship. And those wind up being the relationships that last and stand the test of time against all hurricanes, tsunamis, or any type of natural disaster that occurs. And so I just think I wanted to take that second too to just say, as we do on Push Record, is that we want to make sure people know, don't just do it just to be doing it, right? If you're going to commit yourself to someone's dream, vision, artistry, you got to be ready to be in that type of relationship. I'd like to hear more from both of y'all as hosts. I mean, granted, I don't want to take away from our conversation, but as a producer's podcast, like, it's great to be able to hear from hosts who have gone through this. Like, how do you get there? What helps you get there? If you had to give advice to other producers, or let's say, God forbid, you all take your show to Sirius Radio and Lena and I are no longer the producers on your show. What are the things that you know that you're gonna have to go through to achieve that level of where you fall back into somebody's arms as a producer, as someone? Like, what does that look like? And I don't know that I've ever asked you all specifically, like, what can I do better to help you?
JC, first off, you've been excellent, bro. You don't have to do anything. I know if we're speaking to somebody who wants to step into this realm, because there's a lot of people, you have to learn to love this. You have to, because you're not going to be real. You're not going to trust. You're not going to do anything if you don't love it. If you're coming, I done brought you people who just wanted to do a podcast, right? We didn't have those meetings with the Marios and the stuff like that. Mario's my guy, but he doesn't love this. He just wanted to do it. You have to love this, because when you love it is when you do have outlines. It's when you're not going to get anywhere without that. And I know from my show, JC saw firsthand, because of all the stuff that I went through, my own mama left me in the house by myself. So when I had my old team not call me about coming in, I sat there with JC and I said, man, shit like this always happens all the time. Excuse my language. I said, I'm going to have to just put this on my back and make, and did I not? We did like 27 episodes after that. Because I felt that need of, all right, I'm by myself again, and I got to prove this to not just myself, to the people who don't believe in this, to my mom, to my grandma, because anytime I do something with music or anything, they think it's something that's minuscule. You know what I mean? They don't understand. I'm performing in front of Post Malone. He selected me. You know what I mean? I can't tell her that, because to her it's just a minuscule thing. She thinks I'm performing in Southeast at Market Creek Plaza and stuff like that. You know? Love this thing.
I and along with that love, I think I'm going to put the P word. You got to have a passion for it.
Right.
You got to have a passion for this, and I can say after all the years that I've been in teaching that and I've told, given critiques like this to new teachers, that I've told them they don't have a passion for it. And I've told them that you do have a passion for this, because, and not because you know the right words or you read the book, like we all know preachers that can, when they start talking, sooner or later they're going to quote, a verse,
for sure,
chapter, and all that.
Ezekiel 16:21.
Yeah. But we also know preachers, and we also know people that just have a passion and they just care.
Yeah, they do.
You care about it, and if it's not good, it's not good, and you won't do it. and you can be honest with yourself and say that, I did a good job with this because I cared. I have the passion for it. I studied for it. I prepared. And Diannte, you do a lot of preparing.
Yeah.
A lot of preparing. And you do the preparing quick. Quick meaning, I don't mean you do it real fast like that, but you do it in such a way that you're thorough. And you want to make sure you've crossed. We have this thing. You crossed all your T's and dot all your I's.
Thank you.
I mean,
back to JC's point.
Yeah,
I can't go out there showing them that I'm sweating. I was raised that way too.
Yeah, and if I apply that to myself, what I've had to do is to lighten up on that a little bit. And be a little looser. And I think that's some of the things that JC you've taught me, and also you, Diannte, is lighten up a little bit. You know it. You know the stuff. You've been there. And I remember, JC, you've said, hey, share with the audience your background, what you've done, the things that you've done. They want to hear about you.
Yeah, they do.
Well, I like to think that, thank you very much. I like to think that I do a good job, and I seek to make the guest comfortable.
Right. Which is hard to do sometimes.
Oh man. So I remember when we did the Red Thread podcast.
Right, with the pink hats.
Yeah,
right.
and Lita's eyes got big. and because it was a surprise to her. The lady, I forget her name.
Araceli.
Okay, Araceli. She started crying. And I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting
Let
it.
the record reflect that this is 2 of 3 podcasts on Cannabis Enlightened where tears have been shed. But continue, Doc.
She started crying, and I was trying to figure out, what the heck do I do? I was definitely on it, because this was supposed to be a happy podcast, And she got into what we were talking about, helped her get in touch with her feelings. And when a feeling happens, forget it.
That's what the preachers say, let them use you. Let them use you. And what a lot of people would understand, if they would like to hear this episode, that episode is on Cannabis Enlightened. And not only that, it also represents one of the episodes that Lena and myself actually talked about on I Just Wanted to Push Record. One of the privileges we have as producers is to handpick some of these shows and our experiences to talk about, to teach and learn. The only caveat that I would give to that passion component is that you ain't got to be passionate about it. But if you wanted to be worth something, and if you wanted to do the things that you visualize and that you dream of, then you got to be. Because there's plenty of people. The only reason why there are more than 850,000 podcasts out here is because not everybody's passionate. Don't mean you can't have a podcast.
Yeah, very true.
I would say, and as a producer, always look for those who have the passion.
Yeah.
Because you can make, it's just like anything else. We can make money over this, right? Like we can sell annihilators, or we can actually go make some great pastries from Spain.
Right.
One's going to pay us more, and one's going to be more meaningful to everybody else. And I think that's a great way that we've done in these last 2 segments, because there's one more segment that we've got to capture. And we've talked about our relationships. We've talked about how we met. And there's no way we would have in one sitting where the 3 of us would get together and not one of us would make reference to the current events and the politics of the world right now. So what I'm going to do, let's take one more. Let's take another break. Let's come back.
Can I interject you real quick, JC? For the people, because JC's absolutely right. Anybody can have a podcast. Me and Leroy are speaking about the delayed gratification route. If you want instant gratification, like a short game thing, then you don't need to have passion. But for delayed gratification, we're talking about a 10, 20-year plan, seeing your fruits grow and able to obtain the fruits of that. Yeah, you got to have some passion for sure.
And just before you go, let him go. The thing that there's a difference for me between when I meet a guest before the show and after the show. Because before the show, they're a little uptight. I can tell. They're a little uptight. They don't know what's going to happen. It's either because of they've never done this before, or that
they're nervous.
They're nervous or something like that. But then when it's over, they're like,
you just open the water gate.
They're like, wow, I never thought it would be this smooth. I really like the fact that everything was nice and smooth, and I felt so comfortable.
That speaks to the power of the host. We had a guest one time. JC recorded this one. I'm not going to say his name because we all in the same company. That boy was so nervous. You could hear him shaking when he talked. Like, he was so nervous. By the end of the interview, calm, cool, got through it because we worked together. Me and Jake. JC's already in the back being cool, but they always look to him for approval. You know what I mean? We worked hard to make sure his energy was okay there so he could be comfortable. We're celebrating you, bro. You ain't got to be nervous. Like, unless you got some crazy discrepancy that we about to find out, but I'm not a journalist.
Well, and we tell them that before we interview them. Yeah. Hey, man, this is not a gotcha piece.
No, we're not journalists. We're not. This ain't a news piece.
You know, I just want you to tell me what you do. Tell me what you're all about.
Now, if you confess to something, hey, I can take all. I'm down for clickbaiting. Okay, I'm down for that.
Barring you all telling them how they can hear your show, I think it's a great place for us to wrap such a powerful series. I'd love for you to make sure they can find your show, what you're working on next, and one last thought that you want them to have, as brief as 15, 20 seconds.
Right. Go ahead, Leroy. You can plug them in.
Well, the Cannabis Enlightened. As JC has said, we've done 3 years or three seasons, I think. Four seasons. My God. We're going into the fourth season.
4 years, 2 seasons.
4 years. My
Two
God.
seasons.
Yeah.
Yo,
my
nice.
gosh. My gosh. Lot of hard work. And the hard work, the hardest amount of work comes from the people that support me, the JC and the Lenas, March and Ash. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to do this. This is one of the two things that I brought to March and Ash as I came from the college that I wanted to do. I wanted to do a podcast because I found out that people didn't know about cannabis, or what they did know was wrong. So I felt like it was my job to at least bring some knowledge, some correct the chart, make it known what things were right and what things weren't right, and to give people an opportunity to give a feedback. So you can always reach me. I'm at Dr. Leroy at cannabisenlightened.com. I'm looking for if someone wants to bring up a topic, please do so. I have some assistant producers that help me. Ariana and Onika, they help me with some of the topics that we put together. We're looking at the next season. We're open in terms of the type of things that we want to bring to you, so that if you have any suggestions, please bring them to me to let me know what's going on. But I love doing what I'm doing, and part of the love that I have for what I'm doing is the people that I work with. And I don't mean my guest. I'm back to JC and Lena, because people always give me compliments. Oh, I liked your show. You sounded so good. And I'm saying that's JC and Lena. They make me sound like I'm more than what I am, and I appreciate that.
No, you are everything that they make you sound like, bro.
That.
For real.
Lately,
and we got work to do.
And we got work to do. And we got work to do. Big. And I'm just so proud of. Let me say this, and then turn it over to Diannte. I'm just so proud of Diannte.
Thank you.
It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. He's always been a creative guy. Now, don't anybody think that I discovered Diannte. Diannte was an accomplished rapper and musician already. I mean, he was already on his way. There are a lot of brothers and sisters like Diannte out there that maybe they didn't go through the King's College. Maybe they don't have 5,000 degrees, but they're smarter than smart. And if something was happening, if I needed someone, if all of a sudden I get millions and millions of dollars and I need somebody to help me to be able to figure it out, I'm calling Diannte. One of the people I'm calling is Diannte.
Thank you, Doc.
Well, but remember, back in the first episode of this, we did say that you gave him an honorary degree in neighborhood, honorary doctorate in neighborhood.
I can give him an honorary doctorate. Yeah, in neighborhood.
Diannte, final thoughts?
I just wanted to say thank you guys, JC, Lena, Chad, Peace, Brett. I want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to have this show. This show is, I treat every product that I create as my baby. So this is one of those babies that I'm seeing walk now, and I'm real proud of it. So for anybody that wants to check out any episodes, and I got 4 names I go by. So this is Diannte telling you about Mr. Wowzer's The Dodi Connection. Dodi is spelled D-O-D-I. It's on olasmedia.com, and it's also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. My artist name is 33 Thou Wow. That's spelled Thou. WOW. It's on any platform. You search that name, you'll find me. 33 the numbers. I'm also doing a YouTube channel called GG Fam with my kids. It's about let's play content and funny and scary videos that we rate. I'm having a ball shooting these episodes with my daughter. It's a lot of fun. So if you want to check that out, and I go by GG Wow, just search GG Fam or at GG Fam 33. You'll find our page. Thank you guys for all the freaking support. You guys have no idea what this means to me. Thank you.
Listen, and we'll try to capture all of that in the show notes to this episode. This has been another episode of I Just Wanted to Push Record, a producer's podcast, is where we connect arts, community, and culture. Our goal is to give you a peek behind what it takes to live through, realize, and understand the experiences of anyone who has a dream, a passion, and as we identified here, purposefully wants to have their own podcast. If you want to learn more about our services and what it is that we do, visit us at olasmedia.com. We are an IVC media company. Until next time, on behalf of my great partner and favorite person in the world to push record, Lena Alvarez, thank you for listening. Gentlemen, until next time.
Until next time.
Peace, everybody. Knowledge is power.
Hello.
Thank you for listening to I Just Wanted to Push Record, a producer's podcast. Be sure to follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. To hear other episodes or read the associated blogs, visit olasmedia.com. And be sure to follow us on Instagram with the handle Olas Media Studio. I Just Wanted to Push Record, a producer's podcast, is produced in studios in San Diego, California, and Tijuana, Baja, California. Olas Media is an IVC media company.
Olas Media.